And up first tonight, we have new reaction to a federal court ruling blocking Texas from using a new controversial congressional map.
Yeah, this decision is a major setback for President Trump, who's been pushing redistricting to boost Republican representation in Washington. The map would have drastically changed 3 Houston area districts, all held by Democrats. We're talking districts 18, 29, and 9, and could have given Republicans up to 5 additional congressional seats. Civil rights groups argues the map would have weakened minority voting power. We have team coverage tonight, starting with Jason Miles, who is live from Houston's Congressional District 18, which has gotten most of the attention on this topic. Jason?
Yeah, I caught up with the 2 candidates already heading into a runoff to try and replace the late Sylvester Turner in a seat long held, of course, by Sheila Jackson Lee. They say talking about maps has been a hallmark of this campaign. Just 2 weeks after a special election sent them to a runoff in the 18th Congressional District, opponents Amanda Edwards and Christian Menifee are on the same page today.
It's fantastic news.
And I am glad that the court has determined that this is wrong.
A 3-judge panel, including a Trump appointee, ruled that Texas cannot use its new congressional map for the 2026 midterm election and will instead need to stick with a map passed in 2021. In District 18, it means the map you see on the left will remain in place.
I think this is from start to finish been wrong. It was intended to dilute the voter strength of Black and brown voices and voters in this district.
I'm so grateful that the 3-judge panel ruled the way that they did. This will go up to the Supreme Court soon, and I hope they make the right decision as well.
One judge wrote in his ruling that politics played a role in drawing the new map, which was passed by the Republican-controlled legislature, but that substantial evidence also shows that Texas racially gerrymandered the map. In a press release that quickly followed news of the ruling, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton announced plans to file an appeal, adding, quote, Democratic states across the country from California to Illinois to New York have systematically reduced representation of Republican voters in their congressional delegations. But when Republicans respond in kind, Democrats rely on false accusation of racism and partisan advantage.
I was not surprised that they ruled the way that they did.
If the ruling stands, Menifee and Edwards plan to help re-educate voters on which map to follow.
That voter confusion is still a risk or threat to this district because of the fact that we've gone from one thing to the next thing and then back to the next to the original thing.
It's a benefit to be able to keep talking to the same communities instead of having to pivot and talk to communities that have historically not been in the 18th and haven't been able to hear from me on a direct basis throughout the course of this campaign.
And we did hear from Republican Governor Greg Abbott today regarding this ruling as well. In a statement, he wrote, quote, it's absurd to say the maps were drawn with discriminatory intent. Obviously, this is a story we will continue to follow. Reporting live from downtown Houston, part of District 18, Jason Miles, KHOU 11 News.
A lot of changes and more to come. Jason Miles, thank you.
And all afternoon, we've been tracking reaction to this ruling as it comes in.
Yeah, I spoke with Congressman Al Green, who represents the state's 9th Congressional District. I asked him about the potential confusion for voters with this ongoing legal battle.
Voters are going to have to continue to receive good information. And if they receive that, they can make good decisions. The court has now ruled that we're going to stay with the lines that we had prior to these new lines. And in so doing, the court is sending a good signal that we can end the confusion.
Green says he's hopeful the U.S. Supreme Court will uphold today's ruling.
Our team coverage continues now with Marcelina Benito, who's in the newsroom for us. Marcelina, what happens next?
A lot of moving parts tonight, guys, because this was a 3-judge panel. The case skips the appeals court and goes straight to the U.S. Supreme Court, and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has already filed that appeal. Now, what happens next is now in the hands of the Supreme Court. Justices could let the lower court ruling stand, put it on hold, which would put Texas's new maps back in use, or take up the case and issue a full decision before the 2026 elections.
If it's the case that the Supreme Court decides to continue to hear arguments on the revised maps, then they'll likely keep the prior 2021 maps in place while that happens. That means that the election will go forward potentially with the older maps, just as this current decision holds.
Now, we don't know what the court will do or how fast, but December 8th is key. That's the candidate filing deadline for the March primaries. A ruling before then would cause the least disruption. Back to you.
The least disruption is what voters want. Marcelino, thank you.
The state's redistricting battle has been a long and complicated story. You can find all our coverage on our website and on the KHU 11 Plus streaming app.
Also breaking